Happy Mother's Day. It's been a week since I've cleared this side off and planted pumpkins. Doesn't look like the pheasants came in like I thought they would. So the pumpkins all remain relatively undug. So all those pumpkin seeds look like they're still in place. You can see the last bit of the trench on the bottom that I didn't fill in. So it rained pretty good, and doesn't even look like the rain took much dirt down, so that's a good sign. Anyway, nothing poking its head up to here yet. Let's check over on the river mound now. See if I can get over there without falling in a hole. Okay. Alright. So, this is the part that I buried a few weeks ago. And scanning slowly, there's a couple pumpkins right there. So I got some pumpkin sprouting that I planted last week. That's good. More pumpkins, and some signs of corn. Here's some corn and some corn. There's a bunch of corn up there, and pumpkins and pumpkins and pumpkins and pumpkins and pumpkins. Look at all those pumpkins over there. And corn and corn and corn and corn. There's corn and pumpkins on the top of it. And so I am very pleased. And for some reason the pheasants haven't really been digging around much. Looks like they've excavated a little bit here. That could be mice too. But it's not a whole lot kicked down in the swale, so pheasants haven't been that active on this side. Let's hop over to the other side, where I have not fixed anything really. Watch out for my little tree here. So the pheasants do seem to continue to dig around over here a bit. Yeah, so all of that is mine that I planted in there. All pumpkins. And those pheasants peck around, and they've got their little spots that they like. So good, it rained a lot and it kept them from destroying my walls. Okay. Just watch out for that little guy. Okay. Now to see if any pumpkins from 3 or 4 weeks ago that got kicked off the top into the swale of the snake mound have germinated. Oh, my few potato plants here are doing well. Need to weed this a little bit more. That is one of my plans if I can get to it. So on top of the mound I don't see anything. There's maybe some corn. It could be corn, it could be grass, it's hard to say. And then those little sprouts are definitely something that I planted, charnushka or whatever it was, but I can't really see through the weeds to the bottom of the swale to see if there are really any pumpkins growing down there. I assume there probably are someplace, but I don't see any clear ones. They were all kicked off the top and exposed, so the mice probably cleaned up most of them. So yeah, I just really don't see any pumpkins in the swale, but I do see some of those little sprouts in the swale. So anyway, I'm not going to do too much of this mound this summer because I'm just really not going to be around to take care of it. So this one is going to be left au naturel. Let's check for snakes. No snakes, but plenty of spiders. Look at all them spiders. This is where I usually kick up lizards. They go running across this stuff. There's more cover for them now though. Okay, so that's the garden update. So I suspect that in a few more days the front of this garden where I've started building the lattice will sprout, and that'll be good. Yeah, so off to a good start this year. Finally got it back to where I can work on this thing without this dang tree. Makes me feel good. Hello, my little cherry tree. How are you? Why don't you do me a favor and grow big? I'm going to prune this one back here because it's been snapped off during the, well, when that tree fell on it, it snapped off, so I'll prune it back clean. And yeah, looks good. All right. It is the 1st of June. I've managed to knock down a few weeds today. My scythe is not really repaired, it's just holding on by rope. But the rope held it in place, and I was able to hack down some stuff here. 3 weeks ago I planted the pumpkins, and looking at this front you can see a fairly good line in the middle. There's a good top line. The bottom line is not growing very well, although they could have been chewed up. But looking around, there is some stuff I threw down there, like some mint and some other plant leaves, just to distract the slugs. But there's a lot of pumpkin vines growing. They're already in the vining stage, so there's not much worry about them being nipped in the bud by the slugs. I do see about 3 or 4 potato plants that I planted along here. I see 1 token amaranth, Jerusalem artichoke growing here. But basically, up high and down about another, let's say, 1.5 feet, there's 2 rows of really good pumpkins growing. The bottom row, you can see where I didn't fill any there. There's 1 there and a few down further that way, but there's not a whole lot. Anyway, there's probably 70 or 80 pumpkin plants growing right here, and if 3 or 4 make it, that's all I need. But if all of them make it, that's another thing. It's going to be a pumpkin fight. So I've bought the plastic twine to do it, and I'm going to build up this trellis in the front here. Not going to do it today, next time I come out, but it'll be stout. I'll also have runners running from the pole down over the top of the plant so that they have something to grab onto when they're climbing up, and it will lead them to the trellis so that there will be a lot of things hanging up. I also assume a lot of it will come out this way, so that's why I scythed some of it down. It'll take a while for it to grow back, but this stuff here that I didn't cut will of course be 12 feet high. So some of it only 9, but it will be way above my head. And I'm not going to be here, so the main reason I'm doing so little work is that I'm not going to be here in July and August. I'll be back in September, and so for 2 months these pumpkins have to just take care of themselves. So I'll finish this trellis, I'll maybe weed a little bit more around here, but I've pretty much decided that this is how it's going to be, and they don't need my help. They know how to grow, and when I come back hopefully I'll have some good pumpkins growing. So this is my scythed area. Not perfect of course, I'm scything about, looks like 8 or 9 inches off the ground, trying not to hit the big bumps that the hogs dig up, because they do make big mole hills, hog hills maybe, swales and hog hills. So anyway, so that's today's work. I'm completely sweaty and I need to dry off a bit, and when I'm done drying off I will head home. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 1st of June 2018, and that's what I have going. I might make it out here maybe 2 more times before the end of summer, and that's it. Here's my windowsill mint, supposedly Chinese mint. This is from a friend of mine named Ella. I've had it for almost 4 years now, and I've decided that it's time to get it out of my flat, and it'll harden up here in the shade of this willow tree for a few days. It stays relatively shady here all the time, and if it's still growing in a week's time, then I'll plant it someplace on the mound. And in the middle here is this is a pomegranate, and I'm not going to be around to take care of it in my windowsill, so rather than take to somebody else and have them try to take care of it, I just cut off a bunch of branches and I've got it in here. And again, if it survives the next few days, I'll be able to plant it someplace in the garden in the sun, and I'll dig it out again in autumn. So I've planted some mint in different places and it's doing pretty well, so my hope is to propagate this mint and get it in the garden so it's part of the garden forever, and it will grow. So this is what one day's work looks like. I suppose if I was really resilient, I could take this around all the way, but I didn't do that. I just cleared enough for the front to have more sunlight, and that's the end of my plan. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's looking pretty good.